Hey guys, back on my time. I was gonna press the limit and change it up again a little bit, but I said I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that for those people that are on time. So let me not do that. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. This Thursday. I remember. It's Thursday. Slight hesitation, but I do remember. How y'all doing? I'm excited to be here with you guys as usual. You guys are my family, and I appreciate it. Go ahead. I'm going to share really quickly to get a few more people in here before we start this conversation. Once you do the same thing, go ahead and you press the share button. Tag somebody. Let them know they want to be on this conversation because it's going to be good. We're still in our series, our new series for the month of December, holidays and the family. Okay, and so I'm gonna get this going. So let me just share it real quick. How y'all been today? How anything exciting, productive day, restful day, good day, bad day? Let's talk about it. All right, I did my sharing. That's what we're gonna do. I think we're good. Now we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it on moving. Let's see. We're gonna keep it moving. All right, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Hey, Mom, how are you? Love you. Okay, so we're gonna keep it moving, guys. All right, it was time to go ahead and get this conversation started. Now, I didn't get any disparaging inboxes, nor did I get any concerning messages. So I think that y'all heard me, and I think that y'all understood why I'm doing what I'm doing for this series. And I'm thinking it's still going to be very good. I got some good feedback. So we're going to keep on going. All right. Okay. So if anybody's just joining me for the first time, my name is Paris Johnson. This is Conversations from Paris. This is a platform where we talk about mental health issues and concerns. We talk about wellness, wholeness, purpose discovery, and basically trying to break the stigma that comes with talking about things that's concerned with our mental health, and also breaking the idea that mental health is such a bad word. And so if we just talk about it and start having one conversation, my premise is having one conversation can change the mindset of people and make people much healthier. So let's continue to have these conversations. So we're having healthier households, healthier beings. And so I'm excited. I'm doing a series called Holidays and the Family. And last Tuesday, I brought up the idea that we were going to talk about holiday times, because right now this is considered, the end of the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. That's all considered like a clump of holidays, and a lot of people travel or they make time to spend with their family. And we all know that we're still in the Corona pandemic. Some people feel like we're out of it, but we're still in it a bit. And so I know, like last year, a lot of people didn't even get together for the holidays because it was still so risque. And we had so much devastation that was associated with it. However, now that we've so far in it, there's a different level. You see people are gathering again. And so now you have people traveling out of town again to see their family, and or just going to each other's houses, and or even just they are being very intentional about time that they spend with their family, and it's amazing and it's great. And I think that what a lot of people realize, that this is a time to cherish those relationships, and to realize that I've heard people say life is short, and I know people agree with that. I like to say time is precious, and I feel like believing that time is precious, and valuing every moment will hopefully propel you to do the work to heal. I think what I've seen, which is good too, is that people are saying, hey, life is precious. Let's not keep up with the stuff that we previously stopped dealing with each other over. Like if we haven't seen each other in a while, and it was just, this is the reason, or that was the reason, or we don't even know what the reason was. Let's not be silly anymore. Let's just forget about it. It's water under the bridge. Let's just, it's not something to concern yourself with anymore. And that's good, right? That's one way to look at it. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, it's really good. I have nothing negative to say about that. I, however, want to challenge the idea. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I want to challenge the idea that burying the hatchet, or what people say, or whatever the reason was that we don't talk anymore, whatever the reason is that we don't normally gather and communicate like we used to, whatever the reason that caused us problems in the first place, it's water under the bridge. Let's not talk about it. It's no big deal. I think that instead of us just saying that we're not going to deal with it, I think I won't say it better. I'm better with my words. I'm choosier with my words. Another approach would be to actually deal with it. Let me tell you why I say that. I say that because memories, somebody's recount of a situation, can all be different, and in the perceptions that they're very subjective, right? And what does that mean basically? And this is how I like to explain it. You go into an art museum and you have 10 people looking at one painting. All those 10 people have their own point of views with that painting. They all see something different. So if they see, hey, cuz, I love you. If they all see something different, and they're looking at the same thing, why don't you think that's how life works? We all can be in the same moment, experiencing the same thing, and still see it all completely different. Paris, why does that matter? Well, it matters because we could have lived the same experience in that moment and still came out from that with my side of the story, your side of the story, somewhere in there, the truth, right? And so the reality of that is, you might say, hey, that was water under the bridge. It's no big deal. And it was not even something even worth being mad about. Okay. But somebody else might have not felt that same way. Somebody else might be like, no, that was really disrespectful what you did. That was really hurtful. And I'm not trying to hold a grudge, but I don't think that you acknowledge that this is really my feelings. And therefore, if I don't think you acknowledge me, or if I presume that you, or perceive that you have dismissed my feelings, then you've now created an environment where, although you want to move forward because you don't think it was an offense there, I'm stuck. Or if I do come, I have to put on a smile and a face to act like I am okay with how things were settled, or in even a better way, it was never settled. There was never a conversation. There was never an apology. There was never, even if we didn't agree, there was never a moment to even deal with it, right? And I think that's dangerous. And this is how you get, I don't know if you guys really even understand in psychology, when we talk about relationships and we talk about families and different things. When you start therapy, if you're in therapy, one of the things you'll know is that one of the things you're going to deal with is your relationships and your perception, how you participate in that relationships. And in family relationships, that's very important. One of the things that you'll hear about is boundaries, establishing new cycles, or breaking up old cycles, and establishing new truths and letting go of some of the old pain. And then what you'll also hear about is if the boundary is to say, hey, when you do this, I don't like this. And then you can still move forward. That's more mature. I'm ready to deal with a statement. But some people in the very early parts of their treatment, they are here to literally, like, okay, they're literally there to protect themselves. And I'll give you an example. If you don't know how to fight and you keep getting beat up, and you've been going to school every single day, and it's a bully on your route to school, and that person targets you and they beat you up every time they see you, they physically punch you in your arms and hurt you every single time. You don't fight back. You just hurt every single time. Well, then you finally tell somebody, hey, I'm being beat up. And they're like, oh, no, what you need to do is fight back. Now, you don't know how to fight back. You really are just terrified of this person at this point because this is what your existence is with them, and you try to avoid them. Okay, but you can't avoid them. They're going to go every single day. So then it's like, okay, if I'm not going to be able to, I don't know how to fight yet. And so I'm trying to get over my fear. Instead of fighting, the very first thing someone's going to tell you, well, at least defend yourself. At least protect yourself, right? So that they'll tell you to put your hands up. When you learn how to box, the first thing they tell you to do, or when you learn to fight, defend yourself, if you go to the first thing they tell you to do is cover your face, cover your body. So if somebody's trying to hit you, here's the stances that protects you. That's the first thing you do, protect yourself. If I can't hit you, or I don't know how to hit you, I don't have the courage to hit you back, at least I can protect myself from being hurt anymore. Hey, Mama Pat. And so that's where the first thing that we're going to talk about is if somebody's being hurt by you, or if somebody's hurting, or somebody's being hurt, and maybe you're the one that's being hurt, first thing they're going to say is to protect yourself. And maybe if you're not strong enough, maybe just stop going around that at that moment in time. So that's the first myth I want to break up. Just because some family members don't come around, don't mean that they don't love you. Doesn't mean that they don't love their family. Doesn't mean that they don't care about you. Doesn't mean that they have given up. What it could just mean is that they don't feel strong enough to go into an environment that feels very weighty and heavy, and it has some unresolved issues in it. They don't feel strong enough to go into that environment because for them it's heavy. Okay. So that's the first myth I want to break up about families and holidays. Just because, cousin so-and-so, auntie so-and-so, whatever, they don't come around anymore, it doesn't mean they don't love you. That don't mean that they don't love their family. It just means that they in that moment don't feel strong enough to encounter the experience that they are used to encountering when they're around family. Now, whether you believe their experience is valid, whether you don't know what it is or not, I'm not asking you to figure that out. I'm telling you that is their truth, and I need you to respect that. That's the first part of us talking about holidays and the family and healing. I mean, again, once we get past the idea of, oh, the pandemic happened, I just want to be my friend, my family, that might be what you say. That might not necessarily be what everyone feels. And we want to open up these conversations and make environments that people will at least be comfortable in having a conversation. That's my goal, being comfortable in having a conversation. So what I was talking about with the whole bullying thing, Have you guys ever heard of the term estranged? Let me know. Just you can put in there how many stuff. Yes, no. Just in case you have not heard of estranged, basically what that means is that's a separation period from. It usually has to do with your family, right? When you hear estranged, that means that hey, been with my family or this part of this person part of my life, and I no longer want to deal with them, and I have some people call it no contact, with non-contact on people. Again, that is an extreme. That is an extreme situation where someone, the perception is this is such a toxic or dysfunctional situation that they are trying to protect themselves because they don't think that there's any other way to go forward. And so then they become estranged. They just say, I'm just not going to deal with that. And I know you guys have heard of people who've done that. Whether you agree with why they've done it or not, that is a tactic that people can use. And so before it gets there, or if it has gotten there, but maybe the work wasn't necessarily done, or maybe it was a decision that was a decision that was reached in the middle of crises, right? If it was reached in the middle of crisis, there's a thing where we can reassess the damage done in a situation and say, okay, maybe at the time we started talking about it or dealing with it, it was all just so much division and conflict that there was nothing productive coming out of it. And so someone pulled completely out. Well, sometimes you can now say, you know what? That's what I needed to do in that moment, but maybe I'm ready to try again to reassess the situation, not to be naive and believe, oh, I'm just going again, assume everybody's better and healed and we're going to have better relationships. No, it's to say, let me go and take inventory of where I'm currently at. Because guess what? We all changed in the last 2 years, whether you acknowledge it or not. Where that person is, that's the conflict is, or persons where they are currently, and even just the environment around, right? Because all of that matters, right? And I know I'm being a little vague right now. I have to be vague because, again, I'm trying to approach why it's important to understand how these doors have closed in the first place. And if you rush back into the door, so like I'll give here, y'all know I'm about analogies 100% and metaphors. If there was an emergency and somebody's like running after me with a knife, and I run in the house and I run in, and I come and slam the door and I lock all these doors, and somebody's banging on the door, and you're trying to ask me what's going on, but I'm just in so much shock and so much going on. I'm like, do not open the door. No matter what you do not open this door. It is danger, danger. Do not open the door. If, depending on our trust level, here we go. If you don't trust me, or if you think that I over exaggerate, you might bypass what I said and open that door. And it could be a murder on the other side of that door. And it could cause us all harm. And it could be a potentially fatal situation if you don't trust what I said to you. Y'all heard that? Y'all get where I'm going? Or if and maybe I'll push it up to me. Maybe I don't explain things, I don't communicate well, or there's a lapse in our communication. And so when I'm here, I'm in shock and I'm not able to really explain to you what's going on. If there's not enough trust to say, I'm not going to open that door until I actually know what we're dealing with, then there can be a breach. Oh, hey, Dominique, you did make it. Hey, girl. And so that's what we have to be careful of. So when that happens, if let's say let's say I run in the door and you like, what's on the other side of the door? And I say, let's go and hide. Let's No, we're not going to go to that door. It's horrible. No. And then you give me a moment to kind of explain, and or either we have a moment to calm down. And then let's say whoever is banging on the door, they've stopped. Um, there might be a point later on where I'm courageous enough to go back to that door and look out the window and see if that person or the perceived threat is gone. Okay. There might be a moment where I am courageous enough to check it out. And then if I look out, let's say I look out the window, I'm looking out in the driveway. I don't see anybody. It looks like nobody's there. I no longer hear anything. It's been a period of time. I think we're all clear. I might take something that I perceive as a weapon. Y'all know how we do. We got a whole bat behind the door. And some people got some more stuff. So y'all better watch out. This is a public service announcement. Y'all people that's running up in people's houses, baby, you don't know everybody ain't got to go for that. Okay? Let's not do that. That's not cute. You're going to get what you're looking for in some of these people's houses. I'm sorry. That was like a sidebar. I didn't even go there, but I saw, it's a video in the news about people that's been running up in people's houses. You don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that. But anyway, I digress because nobody on here would ever do anything like that. But basically, if somebody feels like, hey, it's been a while, I need to make sure that everything's okay outside of my home, they open the door again, but with caution, with their senses and their awareness wide open. They are now looking for the threat that was once there. And now they're going out and they're in high alert. Matter of fact, they might even have what they call fight and flight literally activated in that moment because they are prepared for what was outside of that door and anything else that could be there. Do you get what I'm saying here? What am I saying? I'm saying, and this analogy is when we're talking about if you were estranged or you stop speaking to someone in your family because of a situation that you perceived was not safe for you, not safe. It was very toxic, whatever the situation was, and you left that situation alone. What I am saying is that there is an opportunity to possibly go back and reassess the situation. And that's not to go back to assume that things have fixed completely. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you go back and see. All right, what was the behavior that was happening before that was not good? Is it still happening? Is that person now self-aware of how they're showing up? Are they on edge? Is their personality aggressive? And make some assessments, even if it's surface level assessments. Make some assessments that can say, okay, these 3 questions I'm going to ask in my head about what my environment is. And then depending on if those questions and those initial questions are answered to your comfortability, then you can decide if you're going to proceed, right? And all that is just that the whole moment of let's try and see where we're at. And if we're at a place that the intensity is not so high, then maybe we can try again. Okay, I'm going to bring anybody who just came up to speed on what we're talking about. Right now, today, this series, we're talking about holidays and the family. This particular show, we're talking about, that's old news. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that, again, once you get past the fact that, COVID happened, I miss my family, I love them, we need to get together more, we need to see each other, and we do all that. That's wonderful and great. But let's just be honest. That's not enough to bring everybody back together and close. And that's not enough to keep everybody together and close. I am a better, I am a supporter of us dealing with the root issues, or at least trying to address some of the stuff so that when people get comfortable again, you're not in a situation again where you don't see your family for 5 more years because you're like, they still in the same crap they was on before. I'm sorry if y'all offended by the word crap, but they're doing the same things they were doing before. Or this person is acting the same way. They are bringing up things. They are, being messy, whatever the situation is. And now I don't want to be a part of that anymore. Or, maybe you're trying to reconcile with somebody that you really love, and you feel like you don't know why they left, or why they don't come around, or why they seem to be different now that you come around. Well, there might be, again, and we talked about perceptions and different ways you see things. They might have seen it one completely different way than the way you saw it. I think you need to make room for that. I think we have to become way less offensive all the time. We cannot live in a realm of offense all the time and believe things are going to be healed, right? So if you walk in and say, I hope so and so ain't still mad about something that happened all that time ago. That's so old. I can't believe that they upset. They better not come in here and talk about that. That wasn't even a big deal. You've already come in the wrong spirit. You've already walked in with negative energy. And you've already made some determinations that are not fair, meaning that you believe your side of the story was the right side of the story. You probably have not even thought about it from their side. You probably have not even wanted to have a conversation with them, or every time you guys did have a conversation, it became confrontational, and that person decided to bow out. So to come in with that energy again and expect somebody to engage that is trying to deal with their personal peace and their space, yeah, they're not going to do that with you. They're not. Knock, knock. Is this someone? They're not going to do that. Somebody that's protecting their peace, if you walk into a situation and you are all like, I'm going to do how I do, they tripping, I don't even know why they upset, this is this and that. If you walk in like that rodeo and ooh, okay, here we go. I just thought of a word. Hey, Yolanda girl. If you walk in to your family setup or your relationships like an emotional madman, and you are just running around and you are just not thinking about how you show up, and you're just very irresponsible with your words, irresponsible with your actions. You don't care who you hurt. You are, and I've seen this so many times when people hurt. You ever heard that word? You ever heard the term hurt people? Hurt people. That's the simplified, little slang for it. But the reality is it is derived from the idea that we have these wounds that we don't deal with. We have these root problems that we don't talk about, and therefore they fester, and those wounds become infected. And because we don't deal with the wounds, the symptoms rise up. And now we're walking around bleeding on people because we won't deal with the initial wound. We won't clean it up. And I hear people say, oh, that's old stuff. We don't need to dig that up. Well, I don't agree. I agree. I say if something happened that was so traumatic for one or more people in a family group, and it's so traumatic that it's caused lengthy division, it's caused some deep trauma for one or more members of that group, then I believe that trying to move past it without ever addressing it in a healthy way is damaging. And not only is it damaging, it becomes toxic really quickly, especially for someone who feels like they really do want to deal with the situation. It's one thing if you tried to deal with it before and it just wasn't working, then maybe you guys need something. I'm a big proponent and a big supporter of therapy. It is, man, guys, especially now y'all don't hear me talking about it enough, but I'm also a huge supporter of family therapy. We don't talk about that enough. It's one thing to go get help for yourself. It's another thing if you're saying, okay, I'm in therapy, I'm working on me individually, but I still think the relationship with my family is not necessarily where I want it to be. We have some things to work on and deal with, and I don't think people want to talk about it or deal with it. I think it is amazing to be able to say, hey, you know what, I love you, and I don't know what's going on with us. I think we have some unresolved issues, and I don't think we are equipped to do this by ourselves. So how about we go to therapy and we have somebody help us out, somebody to help us talk through it. Would you be willing to do that? Because we want to maintain our relationship. We want us only to grow and get better. And if you can convince family to do that with you, oh my God, you guys are like steps ahead, because now we can start to deal with the family dynamic. There's a such thing as a family dynamic, right? And it's really complex because each relationship within the family is individual, and then there's a family dynamic, and it's different rings to that, right? You can imagine, right? You have your own relationships with everyone, and then there's, if you have your children, their relationships with your children, it's all type of stuff. And so starting to do the work and starting to unfolding some of those family dynamics is so important. But again, that's long-term strategies. If we can go ahead and get some of those things to happen, that's like wish list stuff, right? I'm talking Christmas is coming up in 3 weeks or something, right? You already had Thanksgiving. And again, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and you want to be around your family, but what if I know some people who have had anxiety attacks when it's time to go over their family's house or deal with the family. They're like, oh my God, every time I go around my family, they say this toxic thing, or every time I go around them, they ask me this question that makes me uncomfortable. Every time I go around family, I'm going to see Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so, and they did this to me as a child, or this happened to me, and nobody ever addressed it. I'm going to go over here, and my stepfather's going to be there, and there's some unfinished business there, and I'm just not comfortable. But if I don't go, they're going to look at me as I'm I don't want to be around. And it's all these pressures that are mounting. And I don't know if you guys, if you didn't watch my last show, the reason I even brought this up, because I was on TikTok and this whole stream where people were talking about the holidays and family. And it was basically a whole like live or talking about people opting out of the holidays from now on to protect their peace. And, while I was hearing what some people were saying, I felt a lot of hurt, and I saw a lot of hurt. And again, to be estranged or to say that I'm protecting my peace and I'm putting my boundaries up is everybody's right and absolute way to do things. If you want to do it and if that's necessary, I 100% agree. But I also started to realize that a lot of people try to put up boundaries and they end up putting up walls instead. There are a lot of people who won't go to a therapist and actually learn about the tools. They won't read up on things. They hear a term and they go with it, and they're like, oh, I'm going to put up boundaries. And they don't necessarily know what boundaries are. And they end up putting up walls by accident. Okay. And what's the, I'm not going to go fully into what boundaries are, but if I could just give you just a visual, a boundary is like a fence. It's a fence. It's a way of putting something up in between you and somebody else in the relationship. And you can say, hey, this is a line that I don't want you to cross. And I can see you and you can interact with me. But if you cross this line, I'm going to stop you. Or I'm going to say, don't cross this line, right? That is a boundary. And like I tell people, a boundary doesn't mean you don't love someone. It just means that I can say when enough is enough or when it's something too much, right? And I can say, at this point, this is a pattern. Okay, so now you no longer get to do this. And we can still interact. I'm not shutting you out of my life. I'm just telling you that, this is where I draw the line, right? What we do without actually knowing it is we end up putting up walls by accident. And the difference between a boundary and a wall is that I built a brick wall because I'm hurt. I did not process my feelings. I didn't even try to go ahead and deal with it. I had perceived that the threat was too big. And now I built a wall up to protect me against the big bad wolf. And I want to go ahead because guess what? That big bad wolf of my life has blown down the wood. They have blown down the straw. They're not going to blow down. And I'm going to protect myself because I'm tired of being hurt. So I'm going to build this brick wall up and keep people out of my space. When you're unhealed and you don't know how to fight back, that seems like the only way that you can get people out. Y'all remember that story with the three pigs and the wolf? Okay, that's they were hard. They didn't know how to fight. They were small against the big bad wolf. So this is what they did to protect themselves, and they kept the big bad wolf out. Well, if you want to have relationship with this person or people or your family again, um, building a wall in this situation is not the way to go. You want to get educated, get someone to help you to place and determine what proper boundaries are, and be very careful that you're not just putting up another wall that now you got to try to tear down. Because guess what a wall does that you don't even realize? A wall makes it where you can't see them, they can't see you, they can't get in, but you also can't get out. And what happens is that so many people have dealt with hurt and they build these walls. So now they can't receive love. And now, or they can't get love and they can't receive it because now they have put this whole wall up between them and everyone else because of protection. And it's what happens. It's a defense mechanism. We build walls up when we've been hurt, when we don't want to be hurt. I heard people say all the time, I'm not gonna cry no more. I don't have time to be hurt. I'm just gonna keep everybody away. Because no, I'm not gonna go through that again. And I understand that. But that is not the way to necessarily go. So this is why you need to sometimes, work with a professional so that you can understand what correct boundaries are, so you can understand how to properly move, and then you can figure out what are the best tools that you can use to help heal your heart, your mental space, and also heal those interactions between your family. So again, I'm not expecting anything that I'm saying something is easy, nor am I saying that it needs to happen day one. So I'm going to kind of give a summary because I'm kind of done with today's talk about. My point for this live today is to know that it is not okay to think that something that happened a while ago or something that was unresolved is now all of a sudden resolved because the pandemic happened. It's not. And just because you think that doesn't mean the other person or other people involved believe it's that easy. Trust me, because when the trigger is put, when there's a mind, I call them landmines. Spend enough time around a person with the unresolved issues, and y'all have not talked about that. Spend enough time around that. It don't even take a long time. They're going to say something that triggers an emotion. They're going to say something that triggers a feeling, and possibly either somebody's going to say something that now sets the other person off if you guys are confrontational, or is at least going to it's going to invoke those feelings and bring up those feelings from that unresolved trauma. And those feelings, they show up different ways. Those feelings could be attitude. Those feelings, it doesn't always have to be yelling. It could be somebody rolling their eyes and their body language change, like, here she go again. Oh my God, here they go. Oh my God, I cannot. And sometimes I tell people, you got to be self-aware of how you show up, because I know I have to watch my face. I know. But you also have to read other people's body language. You might have said something to think that they were good, and now you see that they're not so good. And even if you don't necessarily stop everything right now to talk about it, that should be a visual cue that, okay, we're still not completely over this, and that's okay. That's another thing. Give you and your family grace over these holidays. If something happened it happened over a long period of time and it was not good and you guys didn't deal with it and it's not resolved, 1 10-minute, 30-minute, hour conversation is not going to fix it per se, right? Don't expect an apology to fix it. And sometimes people say, well, I don't even want it. It's not fixable. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that don't believe or expect one meeting of people growing and maturing, even if they're doing the personal work to even deal with it. Because even if you guys, let's say in the perfect situation, both of you all are being self-aware, working on yourself mentally, individually, that dynamic between the relationship is a whole different thing outside the individual stuff that you do. And they're going to have to be some work that's done to repair the breach that's been broken, right? With your new eyes, because once you start getting clear about you have new eyes. You can start to see situations differently, and that's in a perfect situation where two people are currently working on themselves. They are self-aware. They're starting to realize how they show up in the world, and they are not walking in old fence. That's what happens with two people that's already self-realized, actualized. What happens when you're not fully self-actualized because you're not really fully in the work yet, and you know the other person is not started? It becomes way more complex. So I'm going to leave you with this. Is there a way for us to go into the holiday season without the anxiety and the fear? Yes. We can choose to say, let's reassess the situation. If you haven't seen your family and you have the desire to, and I'm not sitting here and trying to force anybody to do anything, but if you have the desire to say, I miss my family, I want to be around them, I want to see them, but I'm just scared of what might happen. My goal is to get you to possibly be able to get some tools so that you can walk and reassess, like walk lightly into the situation and see if we're still where we left off, or if maybe people are at a different space, and that can kind of tell you how you can go forward with it. And then and that was my advice to the person who has been hesitant about coming around family. Let me talk to the family who has been getting together all this time, and now you have that person that's going to come back around. If someone say, hey, so and so coming first, I say, what, they coming back? Oh, I wonder, they deal with us now? They cool now? Please don't do that. Please, let me tell y'all. If y'all think that's the right thing to say, don't you say it. I'm telling you right now, that will never solve a thing. If somebody hasn't been around in a while and they come around, the first thing you say, hey, stranger, what's up? And I know you think it's funny, or you think that's a way to break the ice, but all you're doing is, if somebody has anxiety or if they've had a hard time coming around, all you do is you bring their anxiety back up, and now they start to reevaluate. Should I even came back? This is what I'm used to. That the environment is not comfortable for me. And you might think, well, I was just playing with them. They so sensitive. Let me help you out. No. You might not think it is hurtful, but it is, and it can be. So let's be very intentional about our words. Let's be very thoughtful. I'm gonna help y'all out with a couple of other things. If you had some beef with somebody, but you really don't know what to say, the first thing you shouldn't say is, listen, so much happened during Corona, and I just want us to do water under the bridge, so let's forget all about it, and let's just go forward and be good. That might sound good to you, but if that person feels like there was more there and they're not really ready to deal with that without actually talking about it, then that could actually be hurtful because it could seem dismissive. Okay. So you don't think that you did anything wrong, and you feel like, well, I was being a bigger person and telling them I can get over it. If I can get over it, they should get over it. You can't make somebody get over something at the same rate you're getting over it. And guess what? Sometimes you're saying you're over it, you're really not. You're actually really being dismissive. You're actually just saying, I don't want the feelings of the conflict, so I'm going to bypass dealing with the conflict. I'm just going to dismiss. I want us to get past those feelings. So whatever you felt about that girl, I don't want to think about it. And I'm going to push it out the back of my mind until I'm triggered again. And so let's keep going. That's not necessarily healthy. All right. Sometimes you can table something. Maybe you can say, well, in this moment, it's not time for us to talk, but let's talk about it later. And let's just not go there right now temporarily. But to tell somebody that, hey, let's pretend like it don't happen. I love you. You love me. The issue was not there. That's not going to work for a majority of your situations. Okay. That's like somebody, that you broke up with somebody because they cheated on you, and then you going back and say, hey, they want to come back and say, I know I cheated on you and stuff, but let's go back, let's get back together and everything, it's gonna be fine. Let's not worry about that. You might be like, hey, Ersky, yeah, no, we're gonna have a whole conversation, because there were things that happened, there were feelings that there were things that happened that are open wounds for me and us and our relationship, and things that were broken. Trust was broken. And so, no, for you to want to skirt past that and think that that we're not going to deal with this, that's unrealistic, right? So I'm just trying to help you guys to see all these different points of views, right? All these different points of views. Or let's say you around somebody, you like, oh, something happened 15 years ago, and they're still holding on to it. Girl, I'm from the hood, Erskine, yeah, I know. And you're like, they're still holding on to it, and you feel like it should have been passed. There's still a softer way to deal with that, right? Um, you know, sometimes a kind word will go so much further than you think, right? Being aggressive and saying, I know you're not still on that. That's not going to help a thing. It really isn't. So don't do that. Maybe if you see that someone still has a problem, maybe you can just say, hey, you look nice today. I miss seeing you. And even if you want to do something a little bit more, but you don't know what to do, maybe you can pull them to the side. And a different way to say it is say, I know we have some unresolved issues. I was hoping to get past it, but that might not be something that can happen in a day. And I'm okay with that. I just want you to know that there's still love here. And I just wanted to hopefully make the environment where we're in together, more manageable until we can have those further conversations. That is a healthy way to deal with it. Again, you might not be ready to say that. You might not be there. So again, if you don't know what to say, if you don't know how to say it, I suggest you go to therapy and start working on yourself and start working through these things, or at least don't cause more harm. Tabitha Brown, she's this, I know the lady that's the vegan lady with the fro, that's really blown up in social media. One thing she says, if you can't have a good day, don't you go messing up someone else's. And that's the idea of, I don't know what their problem is. I'm not sure. Okay. You don't have to know. You don't know. You don't even have to know how to fix it. But what you do need to do is not go make it worse because of your ignorance of it or your dismissiveness of it. Okay. I know these are hard conversations. I'm not expecting this to be easy. I'm telling you guys, if we want to get past the culture of just seeing family on funerals or weddings or something like that, we have to learn to deal with the stuff that's in the closet, the stuff that's pushed down, and stuff that we don't talk about. We have to learn to deal with those things because everybody's not going to be able to just, avoid it. And then, let's talk about it. The other reason why sometimes families can be so explosive and stuff is because people are self-medicating, right? Listen, you got to start looking at that. If every time you come around a family, so-and-so is always getting completely wasted, maybe you should start realizing, because when we don't want to go there, but alcohol, drugs, those are the easiest way for people to escape a situation. So if I'm triggered by my family, maybe I'm going to be drunk by the time I get there already, or I'm going to have pre-gamed it by the time I got there. If I'm triggered by my family, maybe I'm going to smoke 3 blunts before I go there because I don't want to feel what I feel, that tension when I walk in the room. I don't want to feel that. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and pop this pill to bring down my anxiety. I ain't never went to a doctor. I got some Percocets off the street and I'm going to just self-medicate myself, which is not good. Y'all, I'm being sarcastic a little bit, but people do it. And this is what they're doing to manage and get through the holidays. I don't want anybody doing that. And unfortunately, if you think about it, somebody who does that at every one of your family functions. And we just call them, oh, that's just, they the drunk, or they just always getting high, or this and that. And then you wonder how they live in their life and in other situations. And you start to realize, wow, that's only when they get around us. Did I turn on a light bulb around in somebody's head? If somebody has to, the minute they get to the family, let's go get a drink. The minute we get around, I got to, let me go get something because I just can't. Oh, let me step outside and have me a cigarette. Oh my God. Let me go get a blunt. These are ways to understand when people are not dealing well with the environment. And again, you might say, well, that's not us. That's just them. understood whether or not you think they have the right to have a problem or not. That's just I'm telling you how to sometimes read the room, right? Sometimes read the room. Everybody's just not a horrible person. Some people just don't know how to deal with it. And until they get the help that they need, at least you can understand what's going on. It might not just be that they're just somebody that's out of control. Sometimes, y'all know, I talk about this all the time. A lot of people are in addiction cycles because they're escaping their whole life. But that's a whole other story. But then, some people that are doing well in life, but they only get messed up when it comes to family functions, then that means there's something they're escaping when they're in that environment. And it's environmental, meaning their family atmosphere is too toxic for them, or it's too giving them too much anxiety, and they don't know what to do to be there without those feelings. So those are just some cues so you can know. I'm trying to equip y'all because y'all family situations are coming up, and you listen, we laugh sometimes, or people are like, oh, that's a mess when we see these stories where people have these family fights, or people getting into it, or all these horrible things happen. And the reality is that's more common than you believe, or people having these issues and we're not talking about it. I'm sitting here to let you know this is more real than it's not. Okay, it's more real than it's not. And yes, it's not far from you. It is not far removed. It's probably in your family too. So let's talk about these things so that we can heal, and we can go into 2022 with a different, healthy view on things. I love being positive, but ignoring a problem and thinking it's going to go away, that doesn't work either. I'm sorry. I know it's easy to say let's not talk about it. That's not how that works. Let me help you out. How's that been working for you? Y'all ignoring a problem. How's that been working for you? It's not. It doesn't work. It's a short-term fix. And sometimes you put a pin in it and come back to it. But sometimes people put a pin and they put a stinky little pin on this little piece of paper. And it's a heavy piece of paper, and it's going to fall down over and over again off of it because it's too heavy, because that pen was supposed to be temporary. And y'all done got this little thing on this little, your cork board, and you never came back for it for a year. And you wonder why things are not done, because we've not dealt with them. So I want us to get the courage to go ahead and start processing some of these things. And again, I'm not telling you to walk to your holiday saying, this happened 10 years ago, we're going to talk about it today. I'm not saying that. Please don't you go there and say Paris said that. I didn't say anything like that. I am saying, let's hopefully, by Christmas time, we can have some tips and techniques to even get us to try again, or to be around family that we haven't seen and know what to do with old wounds, and managing our triggers and managing our handling our self-awareness, so that we can try to heal some of these relationships and at least be comfortable around it and not have to self-medicate. If I got anything to do with it, you're gonna have a drink because you want to. Please don't get messed up because you're so anxious, or you're so depressed around your family. I want us to learn to deal with those things in a more healthy way. All right. I love you guys. There's nothing you can do with it. There's nothing you can do about it. I have some exciting news, but you won't know about it till next week. So I'll see you on Tuesday. Yes, next time I'll see you. So you guys have an amazing weekend. So much going on, y'all. It's my finals week. So much happening. I want to just surprise you guys next week. But what you do know about is a couple things. And I'm going to put the little banner up. Hold on. Don't forget to go to the website, www.parispjohnson.com. All my shirts are on there. They're still there. I'm about to enable my t-shirt deal I had before. Buy 3 for $50. I'm about to enable that deal up. And if you did not realize, I had an ebook out that I released a couple weeks ago, and it's how to heal from the residue of the pandemic using self-care. Trust me, you want this ebook. It's my gift to you all because I love you all. All you have to do is go on the website, www.parispjohnson.com, and sign up, and you'll get the free ebook. Listen, guys, please check your emails if you didn't get this ebook. If you signed up with your email, I sent you an email. You have to go in there and set up a password. I see so many people that didn't finish the process, and so therefore you didn't get to the website, to the download section where you could download the ebook. You just got to finish it, right? And there were emails sent. If you didn't get the emails, check your spam. Okay, check your spam. It's in there. It's coming from, it should say Paris Johnson Live, but go there. The ebook is free. All you got to do is, again, go to www.parispjohnson.com. If you did not get it and you said you signed up for it and you know you did everything, shoot me an inbox. Y'all know, whatever, and I will make sure you get it. Okay. And then also, guys, I still have my emotional intelligence. Listen, guys, I have opened up a few more slots because I actually did reach. I want it to be a small class, and when I say small, I don't want 100 people in this class because we're going to have intimate topics that we're going to talk about when we talk about this emotional intelligence. But I do believe that I'm getting so much good responses. I do believe that it's going to be beneficial for more people to be in it that want to be, right? So there are still some space that if you want to sign up, that you can. So you can still go in there too under the shop. The course is still there. You can sign up, guys. It starts January 3rd, Monday, January 3rd. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. People who've already signed up, they've already got that information. So if you want to sign up, it's a 6-week course. That's once a week on Mondays. You want to be a part of this. You want to kick off your 2022 like this, mastering your emotions so you can do the things you want to. You got goals. Half of the time, we're not honest about the reason we can't accomplish our goals is because we don't even know how to walk through life without actually, letting our feelings and our unresolved issues get in the way. There's so much fear we have. We can't go and walk into our destiny. We putting up vision boards, but we're not healing here. We don't have, we're not mastering our emotions. And that's what I'm hoping to help you guys with and give you the tools to do that. So guys, sign up for this course if you want to walk into this year clear and free and being able to accomplish the goals you want to in your personal life and professional life. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be off the chain. It's going to be dope. I'm excited about it. We're going to get this work in, and 2022 is about to be off the chain. You still got time. This is an investment in yourself. I talk about that all the time. This is the highest form of self-care, is investing in yourself, okay? I love you all. You guys are amazing. I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Do something nice for yourself. And like I always say, you are enough. You know why? Because you are. And you don't have to have any reason. You don't have to think that you have to be perfect. You don't have to be even in a self-aware place. But just you being where you're at, you're enough. And I love you guys. I love you too, Yolanda. I love you guys. I'll see you. And you're gonna want to come check out me next Tuesday. You're gonna see it's gonna be some changes. All right, bye. Check it out.